Yeah. Yep. We got one.
I'm like that with pumpkin pie.
No, it's my first Marvel movie. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, you got to see a Marvel movie in theaters." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll go see Spider-Man."
Maybe they should have been in there because I have some opinions on why Georgia is in the playoffs. They should not be in the playoffs.
Oh my god!
Why should
Not
they?
you.
They just lost. Welcome to the Beer and Sports Podcast. I have the keys to the castle. Josh Wingate is not here. He is gone, California dreaming over there. So I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. So I brought my friend in, Justin Bauerle. We've had him on the Fantasy Football Podcast. We are live on there on Wednesday nights. Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing. I was doing really great until my favorite Colts player might be suspended probably for the rest of his life. So,
Dang.
yeah.
Well, before we get to that, Josh is gonna kill me because he does the plugs perfectly. I think we're at Mugs and Balls. Yeah. More importantly, though, at the Finstock Sports Network, where you can catch us here every single Monday night, usually 8:15, but I push this one back to 8 because, like I said, I'm the boss. Look at me, Wingate, when you're watching. I'm the captain. This is my show. All right. So we are going to be talking some Marvel. Some Marvel movies, not just the Marvel universe, all Marvel. All Marvel's created equally, and it's all awesome.
It's questionable, but
we might be getting to some fantasy. There he is in the chat. Josh, mind your business. Go back to California. We'll also be talking some fantasy football tonight once we get to it. But first, I want to get into your cause. The main reason why I brought you here. I've seen you advertise, or not advertise, but promote the Children's Foundation for Riley. So you want to talk about it a little bit? Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, so this actually started with my parents' podcast, the Meeple Society. It's a board game podcast and YouTube channel. My dad approached me about 6 or 7 months, probably not even that long ago, about doing this Extra Life 24-hour live stream fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals around the country, but we are specifically focusing on the Riley Children's Hospital, the Riley Children's Foundation in Indianapolis. So I was like, okay, so it's for charity. So we were working with Extra Life, which is like a big fundraising organization for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. It's mostly for video games and stuff, but they do board games and tabletop games and stuff like that. So we did an event a couple weeks, 2 weekends ago. And our goal was $1,500 just to raise that while playing board games for literally 24 hours, which we ran from noon to noon, which was an interesting time. I stayed awake for Jacob. I think you've had Jacob on here before, or another podcast. Everybody knows Jacob. We produced that whole thing for 28 hours from start to finish, but we raised a little over $1,600 that day, which got me thinking. I was like, why stop at just $1,600? And I decided to put a fantasy spin on there. So we have a best ball league for fantasy football. There's 36 teams. The first two leagues we started out, hey, $10 buy-in. The winner gets most of that. And then I was talking to some people in a Scott Fishbowl group chat on Twitter, and they're like, why don't you open up another conference and also donate money to charity for that too? And I was like, I like that idea. We're going to throw that right into the Riley Children's Foundation and just keep that moving. So now we are up to 1950 in about a week and a half. So pretty good there. I did a live mock draft a couple nights ago, Saturday night, to raise some money. We raised about $145 that night just on that hour-long stream. So good stuff. I mean, it benefits children and all of their families that need that support for the hospital system. Nobody expects to have a child need that kind of care at that age, and so it's not one of those things that you plan for. and I really enjoy raising those kind of funds for people that need it the most.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And this is the Scott Fishbowl season, and everyone's getting together. And actually, it's now this is your first year in it, and you can see that everyone everyone's just awesome. There's a couple bad apples in the batch, of course, but
we've talked about it.
but there's majority, like everyone gets together. We all, like, I remember my first time in the Scott Fishbowl, and I was in the Frank Sinatra division, and Adam Rank was in the division. And I'm like, hey, I'm in the group chat, and not just because he's there, because he wasn't in our group chat, to be honest with you. He didn't get in there, no big deal. There's like 10 of us, and he was one of the people out. I was like, hey guys, let's get $50, $20, whatever you can do. We'll all like vote on a charity and put it together. And then nobody's like, no. Everyone was like, yeah, dude, I can do 20, I can do 50, and I can do. And I was like, hey, I've had Rank on my show before. Let me DM him. I DM'd Adam Rank, and he's like, yeah, dude, what's your Venmo? Like right away. Just Venmo me $50.
So awesome.
And so that's just the whole spirit of this group, this community that we're in, the fantasy football community. And I know that you dove freaking head deep this year into fantasy football.
I did. I'm writing now. I'm trying to create a YouTube channel for stuff to raise funds for this network. And then also, I mean, just I'm getting into more and more leagues, and I always thought you guys were crazy with more than 5 leagues. I was always like capped at myself at 4, and now I'm in my 3rd dynasty. I'm looking for another 1 or 2, maybe. I got Scott Fishbowl. I got the.
I have an orphan. Jacob's in the league.
What's the buy-in?
50.
We'll talk about it.
It's a good team too.
I might be in.
All right.
Anyways, moving on. Yeah. So I've just been head first into fantasy football this year.
Yes, I know, but we'll touch on that later. I don't want to really talk much fantasy because that's been our lives for the past couple of weeks. Let's talk some movies. Something I don't really watch anymore. I don't watch movies. I don't have time. I'm busy. My son watches Super Mario Bros. On a daily basis now, so there's not much room for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But there was a movie I did watch that I wanted to show him because it's my favorite. If we're gonna just blow it up right now, we're going to do our top 5 Marvel movies of all time.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give mine away right now.
Before we start, though, I want to go back to your guys' intro. And Josh Wingate, how is your first Marvel movie, the new not even the new Spider-Man now, but Spider-Man, what was it? No Way Home, I bet?
that was his first one, yeah.
That can't be... Oh, my God. I'm so disappointed in you, Josh.
They live in Delaware. I think they have like one theater, like literally one screen.
That's fair.
For the whole state.
It's like a drive-through or drive-in.
Drive through. They have to drive through every day to see another frame every day. That's Delaware, but they can
hold on. Drive slower. I want to see this scene fully.
They can circle the whole state within like an hour. It's fine. We're good.
All right, top 5.
So okay, I won't give away. But the reason why I brought this up and the reason why I thought about this is because I watched a movie I introduced to my son for the first time ever. And I'm like, we gotta watch this movie, man. This is my favorite movie of all, comic book movie, probably top 5 of all time, like ever, of like all movies. So anyway, so we do have our top 5. I want to start from 5 all the way to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like first. So do you want to start? Do you want to lead off?
Sure. I want to preface this. A lot of recency bias comes into play, especially as I'm going through the Marvel Cinematic Universe with my own podcast. And I had to rep the best superhero.
Oh God, that's not real.
So there's a lot of recency bias to this, but my number 5 would be the movie Deadpool. I thought it was just different enough in the Marvel universe. I feel like Deadpool 1 would fit really well into the MCU now, and I'm glad Deadpool 3 is coming to the MCU, and they're bringing back reportedly a lot of the old X-Men actors as well, so that'll be quite interesting.
I'm excited for that. Deadpool's not on my list. It didn't make it. I do like that movie. If it almost made it because I had this one, and X-Men is actually on my list. Number 5, X-Men: Days of Future Past.
That was interesting. That was the one where basically at the end of the movie they were like, "Hey, remember how we killed?" Oh,
I mean, I don't know. A lot of people may not have seen this movie because it's like a sleeper. I don't
this
know.
movie is like 15 years old. If you haven't watched it,
Hey,
that's your fault.
I guess you fall in that. I don't fall. I fall in movies are timeless. We all have
All
our own
right.
limits in our own time to
This
get
movie
there.
was a big middle finger at the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure. If I'm
Yeah,
remembering the right one.
it was.
Okay.
But this movie was very good. It kind of brought me back to loving X-Men because when I was a child, it was my favorite comic. That and Thor. Thor and X-Men were my top two by far. Fantastic Four probably third. But to me, like I loved Beast was my guy, my
Yeah.
favorite person ever.
Sure.
My brother was always like Gambit, loved Gambit so much, and
I loved
and,
Gambit. Gambit
and
was
this
cool.
just brought me back to like loving the series because I remember when they first came out, the first X-Men with the girl from True Blood, what's her name? Anna Paquin. She was
Yeah, I don't remember any of the actual actors' names other than
really Halle Berry.
Halle Berry and well, obviously oh my God,
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine. Hugh Jackman. There
Is
you
it
go.
Hugh Jackman or is it Hugh
Yes,
Jackson?
Hugh Jackman.
I'm really
Yeah.
bad with names too, so don't get it's okay. But yeah, that's my number 5. That's my only non new movie. The rest of them are all like kind of recent.
Same. This one cracked into my top 5. Usually I would not have it, but you said all Marvel. I was like, oh, I got to be a non-MCU movie in here somewhere. So Deadpool was that one for me. So my number 4, which I think might be higher for you, honestly, maybe if I know you well enough, is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I'm not going to say if it's on a list or not.
But this movie was really good.
Why would you put this one? Why would you say for me though? I want to know why for me after you describe how good it is
because I think I know you well enough, and I've seen you talk about this movie quite a bit about being one of the best Marvel movies of all time. Just when it came out. But I did really, really like this movie. This was one of the only movies since COVID started that my wife wanted to see in the theaters because we wanted the full effect of everyone that was in that movie. And she's a big Doc Ock fan. So spoiler alert, he might be in that movie. Might be. But it brought everything together. I thought it was really cool. It really kicked off a new stage of Spider-Man for the MCU, and I'm really excited to see how that continues to go on after this.
Okay, so that's a very good number 4 for you. It's not on my list. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
But there's a reason why it's not, because if I really wanted to make this a true like top 5, we would see all Spider-Man movies. So I picked my favorite Spider-Man from that movie. The favorite Spider-Man from that series is gonna replace that because if like seriously, every single Spider-Man ever made is better than every single other Marvel movie ever made, in my opinion. And he's not even my favorite superhero. I just love this.
Spider-Mans were good.
Yeah, they're just
They
so
were really
well
good.
made, and they're just so phenomenal. And the actor, I can't think of his name. He's
Tobey
great.
Maguire.
No, well, he's good.
Or
But the other
Andrew
guy,
Andrew Garfield.
no, he sucked. Those were the worst Spider-Mans. Who's this new
Tom
guy?
Holland.
Bobby. Tom Holland.
Holland. Yeah.
Yes, he is the best actor that whole franchise ever had. The whole universe. I think
I like him so much because he actually looks like he should be in high school.
Yes.
He doesn't look like he should already be like out of college, which is exactly what Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire looked like.
That's perfection right there. All right, number 4 for me is the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. I could get on with that.
Was great. This really broke it up. I feel like when you're in this Marvel universe where it's like Iron Man, this, that, Captain America, I gotta save the world. And it's like a nice beer world. You're drinking a lot of stouts in a row, right? Like, oh, stout. Let me get a nice crispy boy Pilsner to break up, to freshen everything up. And that's what Guardians was. It was something new, funny, exciting, and still badass at the same time. And it introduced
and a great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. And a lot of characters people didn't really know about or didn't know they wanted to know about. When this movie first came out, they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
it was a massive hit.
This was something that Jacob and I talked about on our podcast, is that I remember watching the trailer to this movie when I went to go see Captain America Winter Soldier. And I was just like, this is where are they going with this universe? Like, this looks so random. And then you watch it, you fall in love with every last one of the characters, and it just there's so many heartstrings on that movie pulled.
It's so hard for me that
I
it's
like
number
that as
4.
number 4.
It's so impossible not to have it higher, but then you look at the other ones for me, and I'm like, what? Man, so much better movies.
I kind of cheated on my list. We'll get there eventually.
All right. What's your next one?
Number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I haven't seen it yet.
I hate spoilers, especially with new movies, especially if they're out in theaters still. This movie was just incredible. We went and watched this opening night, and it's not one of those like, oh, it's opening night. I'm still thinking back to the movie. Absolutely incredible, shot to shot. The soundtrack was awesome. Just, it wrapped everything up for that franchise, but also left it enough open that if they wanted to come back, the actor said, I'll do another one. Like, you could do a different storyline pretty easily. And then, of course, I mean, I have 2 dogs named after Gert and Rocket, so the entire movie, I'm just like not bawling, but I did cry like 4 times during this movie.
It's okay. We're in open space here. We cry.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm really excited to see that movie. So we are going to get into like phase 3 or whatever phase we're in now. I have no idea. I've stopped watching. I think they're all terrible. Recently, except for I mean, come on. I tried to watch this Shang-Chi thing. It was god awful. I tried to watch this new Wakanda movie, just as bad as the first one.
I did not like that one.
Just as bad. Every Black Panther movie has been god awful. They can't get that right.
All 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, and they're all bad. Like, they're bad. They're bad films, but it's okay. It is what it is. There's this multiple like new films. I just don't. The new Doctor Strange. I couldn't even get through the first like 5 minutes. I just can't. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because I don't care. The world has already been saved. What else could you do?
Right. Once you get past that Thanos part, and you're just like, okay, all of these phase 4 and 5 movies are building up for something really, really good or bad, evil, whatever. But it's the build up from movie to movie. You have to watch all these different movies, and I wouldn't agree yet that you have to watch every last one of them. But it's pretty. I think in the overall,
it probably is.
It's going to be important.
But here's the thing, and we're going to get back to the list, guys. I promise. We're getting back to the list. It's a little detour. I just want to let everyone know it might be leading up to this and this and this. Guess what? Every game of the NBA leads up to the finals and to the championship. Every single NASCAR race doesn't mean I care or have to watch. Yeah. I don't care. So I'm so and honestly, Justin, I feel free of it. I saw the first one. I saw the first saga. I'm good. Like, I'm
That's
awesome.
Fair.
So,
That's fair.
But I will pick and choose movies like Guardians 3. That's what I'm bringing it back. I will pick and choose movies like Guardians 3, and I will watch it and enjoy it because.
Well, awesome. And if you don't want to spend 3 hours watching a movie, you could always listen to Jacob and I for 45 minutes, leading all the way up to Secret Wars. So that's a shameless plug for your Timeline rewatch. Yeah. So where are we at? You're at number 3, right?
I'm at number 3. Yes, I'm going to go with one of my favorite superheroes growing up, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was, and you can go see where I'm going here. Comedy. I love comedy. Mm-hmm. I love the outside of the box thinking that they did with Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. My only gripe with that film was in the trailers leading up to the film release, they spoiled everything. They gave you everything.
They shouldn't have put him in the trailer.
No, it's over. They busted the load. They said, they showed Hulk. The movie would have been 2 on my list if they just kept that a secret the whole time. And I'm sitting there and who's the champion? Who's the champion?
Because if you got the excitement that Thor got when he came out, and you're like, oh my God, it's the Hulk. They know each other.
Yes.
We would have all felt the exact same way Thor did, but we all knew that he was going to be in the movie. So
and that's the only thing, because everything else, the dude from Jurassic Park, Goldblum, he was awesome. Mm-hmm. As like the villain or like whatever he wasn't really a villain. He's just a guy, but he was phenomenal. It was just a perfect movie. And the way they introduced the new characters, the Valkyrie lady,
Valkyrie.
Yep, she's awesome. And then the two guys, the I don't know how many guys, aliens.
Korg and oh god, I can't remember. Who Korg is the Rock, right?
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know the other guys' names. Like I said, guys, I'm bad with names. But I know the stories. I know what happens.
Korg's the Rock.
And then you have Loki. You have Loki and Thor like working together. Like this is a great movie overall.
Meek. There we go. Meek. Korg and Meek.
So that's my number 3. Would have been higher if they didn't spoil the Hulk.
Yeah. So Ragnarok was an honorable mention for my top 5 list. They did not make it. I did love Ragnarok though. Actually, it would have been my number 5 if you said MCU.
Okay, so, makes sense.
There you go. Number 2 would have to be, and I'll be honest with you, I would not agree with my own number 2 about a month and a half ago until I rewatched it and I was like, wait, this is an incredible movie. Is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It's a classic spy movie. It's serious, but there's funny parts in there. There's a will they won't they moment, like several will they won't they moments between Cap and Black Widow, and I don't. It was just a good movie. I don't know, a lot good action, not just like action to be action, which I feel like a lot of the Avengers movies are just action to be action. But yeah, no, Captain America: The Winter Soldier is just a classic spy movie that inserted into the MCU.
It is. I'm not a big Captain America fan at all. I think he's the most boring and dull superhero that you can possibly be.
I mean, he literally is just a juiced here person.
But the thing is like he's so, but he does get a little edgy. Like he has no layers. He's just one person. Like I'm saving the universe, saving the world. He has no like, oh, let's do. But he did eventually grow into a little bit more like, F you, FBI or whatever you're called. I'm gonna do what I want anyway. I'm not signing no contracts.
This is basically the start of that.
Yep, yeah, that's the start of it. So that's why I never really got into it, because I watched the first Avenger and I was like, this is not an impressive story to me.
Too hokey pokey in the first, basically Captain America and the Avengers. He's just too to the chest. I don't know.
Too not real.
Yeah, the best parts about Captain America that I like is just no matter what the situation is, he wants to figure it out and fight. I mean, there's no backing down for him. He'd rather just be dead rather than backing down to anyone. And you see that in Endgame too. So
okay, my number two. I'm surprised, I may have shocked everyone, but actually Far From Home. I love Far From Home. Where they're in Europe, they introduce
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, but I can't think of his name. Something Galacto or something. Something. What's his name?
No,
it's not Galacto. It's
no. Oh my god, I've only seen this movie once.
What? This movie's so good. Mysterio.
There you go.
Mysterio. Hold on,
what there you go.
Yeah. Okay. My son's trying to tell me about the Spider-Man's name is Mysterio.
Oh, perfect.
So he wanted to correct me. So yes, no, Mysterio. I think this movie was great because you get to see Zendaya and Tom Holland, and you get it like as in the love interest. I think it's something we don't really. It's more forced in other movies, in the Marvel universe, where like the love story, where it's not something you really need. There's many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was truly authentic to me, and it felt like you needed it because it fits the high school narrative. The high school where Peter Parker is that love story, and it's like, oh wow, and now she gets to see all this stuff going on, and he's trying to fight some guy he can't. And then the freaking end.
Yeah, they end it right in the middle of basically a scene, and you're just like,
yeah,
what?
We're not gonna say the end.
Yeah, and then No Way Home, it literally picks up right there too, and it's that transition between those two movies is fantastic.
It's great, and I do love the first one. I will say it. I don't know; those couldn't go either way, but they're so great.
Homecoming was like a origin story that wasn't an origin story, because we all know how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. We didn't need an origin story, so we got thrown right into the middle of it, and we're like, okay, I can live with this one.
Well, because we got thrown right into it. In what was his debut? Civil War.
Yeah.
So he was already Spider-Man in that world, so we didn't need to
Exactly.
see the origin story.
Yep.
So I mean, the way they introduced Spider-Man was perfect too.
Yeah. Number one
for you.
Okay, so I put this. I had to pick two because I see this movie as part A, part B. Yeah, because I see it as part A, part B, and it's Infinity War and Endgame. If I had to choose one over the other, it'd be Infinity War over Endgame, which is
you'd be right. You'd be right. The first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a way better movie. Yep.
It really is. This is where I think Marvel, the MCU, Marvel Studios, whatever, really got into the trailers better, where they put things into the trailers that you didn't actually ever see in the movie, and they took things out of the movie and put it into the trailer, and like the scene where they're all in the woods, all of them are just in the woods heading into battle. That never happens. The Hulk was never. Yeah, so it was an incredible movie. I mean, it was probably, actually, I think this is the only Marvel movie made, at least MCU, that you get to the end of the movie and you feel like you lost because you did.
I felt that way only once in my life in a movie, and that's Empire Strikes Back, because Vader wins in the end. It's the first time I felt defeat, and so you felt it again. Honestly,
yeah.
I wish, and I know I'm the only one, and I'll fight on this hill till the day I die. They should have killed Iron Man in the first one. They should have killed Iron Man.
Yeah.
They should have killed him right there. He should have died on that planet. The end. Not the end, but the end for him. That should have been it. And they should have gone on without him, because you needed. I'm sorry, and I know everyone cried, and I get it, but the people that really thought that these people were dead, Spider-Man, you guys are fools if you really thought that. I wanted to see something, because at that time you got to think Game of Thrones was hot. People, like, real heroes were dying in front of you on the screen all the time. So, Walking Dead at the same time. I think Glenn, he got his face bashed in that time period. So we were losing major characters. So I was prepared for it, and they still didn't pull the trigger. They still didn't do it. And that right there would have been a killer. But instead they decided to dust people when we knew they were coming back.
Yeah. My only question there would be, who's that hero that figures out time travel?
I understand that. I
They had really a plot. Do. I mean, the next movie came out a year later. So.
I understand that, Justin, and that gets thrown at me all the time. And I'm like, look, they could have done some lazy ass thing where they found his notes in like a notebook or something.
Yeah, and Banner figures it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It would have been a big, like, what the hell moment for him to also die. Thanos gets the snap, everything, and you're just like, because I remember walking out of that movie just going, oh my God.
Yeah.
What just happened? I don't 20 something movies in, like, this has never happened before. This is crazy. But
I mean, Ragnarok, they lost. It was pretty sad.
They lost, but I mean, they go on. I mean, they at the end, I know, purposely destroyed Asgard. So
I know. It's just that it's just a killer. Didn't Infinity War start with them beating the crap out of the Hulk, Thanos, and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. To get the power, the power stone.
Loki died right away. Right? Killed Loki.
Or the Tesseract. Shoot, the Tesseract. Yeah, yes, Loki died right away. Heimdall died.
Yep.
And just the two of them.
And then Hulk got his ass beat.
Yep, and never came back.
And
we have not seen that Hulk since.
And that's set the tone for Infinity War right there. And imagine ending with Tony Stark dying. Whatever. It is what it is. It happened. My number one is something that no one's gonna ever put at number one, and I don't care. I don't care. I will say this. I will watch this movie. This is the movie that inspired me to start talking Marvel and actually think of you. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is the perfect movie. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's one, right?
That's number one. That's my number one.
I mean, the Spider.
I have
That's the
not
first
seen. I
Spider-Verse
have
one.
not seen the second one.
Okay.
I have not seen the second one.
In preparation for this, I was trying to look up watching that one because I keep seeing it as a top 5 movie for all of Marvel movies.
Oh,
I was like,
Spider-Verse?
I was like, maybe I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I've already I somewhat spoiled who's in the second one for myself, and seeing that, I was like, damn, I really need to go watch these movies now.
Spider-Verse, there's only one, and it is fully animated, but the way they animated this movie is something that we've never seen before. And the story is so good. And the multi versions of Spider-Man, and I'm not talking about the Porky Pig Spider-Man or the Nicolas Cage Spider-Man, or I'm talking about
Spoiler alert, God.
It's been out since whatever. No, but I'm talking about like the first, like the real Spider-Man you see, and then the alternate Spider-Man that comes in, and then you got Miles Morales trying to learn from this loser Spider-Man while he witnessed the first Spider-Man die. And it's like, this is awesome. Sets the tone. You got the origin story with the family. You got all the Spider-Man like, dude, this is your origin story. Like, and he's learning how to use his powers with all these other Spider-Verse people. And then, and at the end of the day, it is a kids movie. It is, but it's a well done kids movie, and it's damn deep. Like it really is.
Yeah,
and the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is great.
Yeah, I need to go watch that movie. Like I said, I was trying to look it up, and I don't have.
I'd pay for it.
It's not available for streaming. Yeah, you have to pay for it. You have to rent it, and I'm like,
wait, the older one?
Yeah.
Yeah. We no, actually, we watched it on. Oh, we watched it on something. We watched it on something that you probably don't have, but it is on Amazon for like $4. Just buy it.
Yeah,
just rent it.
yeah,
It's worth it.
That's what I'm gonna have to end up doing, which is fine.
It's 1000% worth it because at the end of it, I remember the first time I watched this movie, I was like, because okay, go back. My kids used to watch Disney Channel nonstop. They showed that trailer on Disney Channel nonstop, and it looked terrible because they were targeting towards children. It would look so bad. Then I saw that trailer like on, I don't know, so Adult Channel. I'm like, that's the same movie. Like that's how different it was marketed to me. So when I finally watched it, I'm like, I gotta watch that again because if it was that good, let me see it again. I watched it 3 times in a row the same night. It's the best. So go watch it. Everyone, Bobby, go watch the movie. So that was our list. That was our top 5. No, that's our top 5, man. And I do have more questions for you about the Marvel Universe if you have time.
Yeah.
I want to know how deep. I want to know how deep you get into the TV shows on Disney Plus.
I have watched all of them except for She-Hulk, and I think like Werewolf by Night or something like that.
I don't know what Werewolf by Night is, but I can't believe you haven't watched She-Hulk. It's the best.
I know. So I watched the first one. It's one of those that my wife wasn't wanting to watch, so I was like, okay, well then I'll just watch it like separately when I'm doing other things or like prepping food. And I watched the first one, and then I was like, oh crap, the entire series isn't out, and then I just kind of forgot about them. And I need to go and actually watch it. But now at this point, like we're doing the whole rewatch, so I'm starting like I'm like, should I just wait until I get to that point?
Wait,
but
hold on. Let's get back to the rewatch. So you and Justin or Jacob are going, okay, we're watching this movie, then we're going to do a podcast about it. Is that what you guys are doing?
Yep. So we are watching everything in chronological order. So we started with Captain America, went to Captain Marvel, Iron Man, so on. And then we just finished Avengers Age of Ultron. And then after every Avengers movie, we recap the whole phase or the whole season phase, whatever you want to call it, and basically do like our own like Oscars style.
Oh, is that how they do it? Is that how it's so the Avengers is the end of a phase? I had no idea.
The first phase ends with the Avengers. The second phase actually ends with Ant-Man, which is the movie after Age of Ultron. But we said screw it and ended up with Age of Ultron. We're putting Ant-Man into season 3, so we're ending with the Avengers movies. And then phase 3 ends with Endgame. So you have Infinity War and then Endgame, and then Phase 4 starts everything after Endgame.
So are you watching the TV shows in that chronological order universe? Because they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you get to the television shows?
So we will get to the shows. The shows don't actually start until after Endgame. So we're not like going through like season 1 of Loki, episode 3 is here, but episode 5 is over here. We're not doing that part, but so we'll get to Loki, What If, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier after Endgame. Those are actually the first 4 movies after that.
Okay, I liked all of those, but I was gonna, that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you get more hyped for watching a series like episodic or just one 3-hour movie?
I didn't think I was gonna like the TV series. Like I was like, they're dragging this out. This is really annoying. And then you start watching them, and you're like, these are actually really good. And then the more you just watch them and keep going, you're like, these are movies, but longer. I mean, if you really think about it, they're 6 episodes, about an hour each. So you'd have to make 2 movies out of this stuff.
You're
But
like,
you get so more in-depth information of these.
The Office is like a movie, but like episodes.
Shut up. No, it's I feel like you get a lot more in-depth information out of these series. So they can pack way more into a TV series that you're going to binge over 6 weeks rather than putting out a 3-hour movie.
I was thinking about it myself because when I was watching Ted Lasso, I'm thinking, would this be better as a movie, like 3 different movies, or was it better as 3 different series? Because you could literally cram in the whole 3rd season of Ted Lasso, no spoilers. You can cram into a movie.
Yeah, you could, especially with season 3. I feel like it was better as a series just because you're
It's in
building
depth.
more. It's more in depth. I
And
mean,
that's why I like television. I used
Yeah.
to be movie guy. I used to be straight up movie guy. I'm only watching movies. I never heard of How I Met Your Mother. I don't know what that is. Now I've shifted to TV and I haven't watched Dune. I haven't seen anything. Nothing. Because movies to me, it's not we're on the age of television right now. And that's why I love the Marvel series, because the Marvel series are like the movies, but way better because you get to actually know the characters. You can meet
Yeah.
them. You can know what they're doing. You can know what they like. I
And-
like character driven shows, and that's
and
what they do.
even if you don't understand what what that character is that they're going to put in there, you're like invested by like episode 2 or 3 in these series. Moon Knight was one of those that I was just like, what is this? And then every episode it went on, I'm just like, oh my god, this is so good. Like the writing is good, the acting is good, just the storyline is good, and you're just like, this is incredible. I would never know who this is before, but now I do, and I'm interested to see how they bring him back in.
Why can't DC do this? Why can't they?
Well, that's the thing. So I think they can here soon. With James Gunn moving over to DC to run DC and basically be the Kevin Feige of DC, I think we're gonna get closer to that. I think we're gonna get more Guardians-esque type of movies in the DC universe, which is good for them. I've personally hated every DC movie over the last like 20 years. I don't think there's I
can't get through
Dark
one.
Knight, like that's it. I remember going to watch Man of Steel in theaters, and I got through the entire movie. Once I got to the fight scene, I was asleep by then. And I'm okay, so I was working for 12 hours outside the entire day beforehand, but
Doesn't
it's
matter.
beside the
Boring.
point. It was a Marvel movie would have kept me awake the entire time. It's just I don't know. To me, the movies are boring. The TV shows on CW were really good, in my opinion, for the first how many ever seasons of each.
Arrow.
The entire Arrowverse,
Arrow's
I
freaking
loved.
good.
God, it's so good. But I just couldn't get into the movies. I don't know.
But yeah, like I don't watch them. I don't watch their movies anymore. I do not waste my time. But the last good movie from DC is Batman. Actually, you know what? The Batman was good. The Batman with the new one, Robert Pattinson is
I haven't
Batman.
even seen it.
That was so.
Didn't even give it a
good.
chance.
Give it a chance. I'm telling you right now, give it a chance. It's very good. It's very well made.
I don't know if I like the Batman movies in general.
Oh, you're not a Batman guy? You're not, where is he? Where are they?
Exactly. If I wanted to watch a movie about somebody's parents like making him an orphan from a young age, I would
Not
probably
their
watch
fault.
any
It's
sad
not,
movie out there.
it's not their
Uh,
fault, man. Listen, Batman's a fine film. He's actually a really good superhero. Really, really good. And yeah, he is. And Alfred's cool. And Catwoman is super hot, but you don't know if she's like indie or not because she has a girlfriend. And
Batman's superpower is that he's rich. That's it.
Tony Stark.
He's intelligent, like very, very intelligent.
So is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's very intelligent, by the way. Bruce Wayne beat Superman, and Bruce Wayne.
Why can't Bruce Wayne actually fly then?
He glides.
But can he fly into space?
Yeah, he could if he wanted to. He doesn't have to because his nemesises are all like practical. They're not like some giant aliens.
Well, maybe DC should introduce some aliens to their universe.
and
I'll get interested.
When he's chasing down the Scarecrow with his little dust stuff, and he's like, you know what? We should go into space and fight. No,
see, that's my problem.
Fight on the streets.
The DC villains are trash villains. They're all just trash people, and just
Doctor Doom is not trash. He's pretty cool.
Okay, Doctor Doom is okay.
He's super cool.
Is okay.
All right, hold on. If you're gonna talk about villains here before we do sign off, I need to know quick. Don't give me a rankings tiered list. You just need to give me a couple of villains that you're like your favorite
of all time, or
all
like
time.
Just
any of them. All of them. I don't care.
Dang, you didn't put this in my notes.
I didn't, but you started talking about villains. You just started talking about villains. I like villains. I'm a heel.
Okay, so top 5. We didn't say top 5. Never mind.
Just give me some.
My favorite one's High Evolutionary. You don't know him yet. He's in Guardians 3. He's incredible. I would say Thanos is such a cheap answer in my opinion. I'm not even going to put Thanos on that list. High Evolutionary was incredible, and maybe it's the acting in that movie was what made him great. You know, Ultron was actually pretty cool.
Yes, I was going to say Ultron. Ultron ruled.
Did not like Age of Ultron the movie, but Ultron is incredible.
He's funny.
In fact,
so
Ultron.
Funny.
I think I liked Ultron more in What If. Did you watch that series?
No, I didn't watch the series.
What If was actually pretty cool. None of it mattered at that moment in time, but I'm thinking everything that happened in What If is going to come back eventually. Okay. So you might want to watch that one.
Okay,
it's another.
But then
animated.
again, if a tree falls in the forest, do I care? As in, like, I don't really care what happens with his face.
That's fair.
But I will watch it though because I like watching good stuff. If you say it's good, I know it's good.
Animated series, they're 20-minute episodes.
Oh, that's easy.
It's one of those like you can literally just binge the entire thing in a day if you wanted to, or you can watch one a day and call it a day. But there's an Age of Ultron, or there's not an Age of. There's an Ultron episode in that one where he basically. I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but he's probably the most powerful villain in the entire universe. So
he's the best. He's so cool. He's so cool. I love Loki. Loki is the best villain in that whole entire.
See, Loki is a cool villain, but also is he only a villain?
Are there any of them villains? They're all doing something to help their mankind or their own selves. They're not trying to.
But Loki also fights the villains. So like,
what I'm saying is nobody.
There's parts of me that says Loki's a villain, but parts of me that says Loki's a hero.
There's no good or evil. There's just people and their intentions and what they want at that moment. Loki.
Thanos was a hero to himself.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They all were. They all were. So was Ultron. What was Ultron trying to do? He was just trying to
free mankind.
Everyone has their nobody is
destroying it.
God and Guardian of the Galaxy too. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just trying to survive. That's what people.
Ego is pretty cool too, I guess.
Ego, that's his name. Ego. We're all just people. We're all just trying to survive and get out of this world with love and happiness. And if you don't like it, then you deem me the villain. I'm sorry.
You'll have to let me know what you think about High Evolutionary.
I'm gonna go watch What If after this actually. So if you love this Marvel conversation, there was zero sports because as I said, I am taking over. This is a one-time thing only. Probably the highest rated show of all time.
Hopefully.
Number one overall. You can follow us, I think, at Mugs and Balls. Josh, are you still there? Mugs and Balls on all platforms, but more importantly, at the Fins Talk Sports Network, on Twitter, on YouTube. If you're still here, give us that like, hit that subscribe. Catch me on Wednesday night 8 o'clock for Once Upon a Sunday. We'll having a fantasy debate. Me and Dirtbag Dave. Can you believe that? Has that ever happened before? Probably not. Yes, it happens every time. And I think Bobby is having a show after this. I think they're talking Miami Heat basketball. Bobby, is that right?
Yes, we are having East 10th Street Boys. We're talking Heat, Dolphins, and my brother, Nick Voss, will be on. Be fun to have him.
And I will be tuning in for that. But Justin, thank you for coming on, Justin Bauerle. And go ahead and plug your the Riley Children's Hospital.
Yeah, the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, specifically the Riley Children's Foundation in Indianapolis. You can follow me on Twitter and you'll find all my crap. So
perfect. Well, I look forward to drafting that league if you ever get it started. I cannot wait. And until next week, guys. Bobby, can you play my music?